Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Edwards is finally arriving before our very eyes. If you had any questions about Anthony Edwards being the #1 pick in the 2020 NBA draft, it should be obvious now that he's the best player in that draft. Anthony Edwards is quite literally becoming one of the best players in the league and possibly one of the best shooting guards this game has ever seen. I just want to quickly break down Ant-Man's lethal offensive arsenal, along with his potential to be an all-NBA defender. Standing at 6'4", which is a bit on the shorter side for an NBA shooting guard, he makes up for his lack of height with his strong 225-pound frame, which is amongst the strongest at his position. That strength, combined with his elite athleticism and smooth high-release jumper, makes his skill set unique and deadly. Last season, Edwards put up 24.6 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, and 4.4 assists at the age of 22. The tender age of 22. Crazy to think I'm only a year older than this guy. I'm 23 myself, which honestly just goes to show you how much potential this guy has at such a young age. He hasn't even cracked the surface of what he could become in the future. His defensive upside can make him one of the best in the league. On the defensive end last season, he put up 1.1 steals and 0.5 blocks, which again is amongst some of the best at his position. In the very first round against the eventual NBA champs, the Denver Nuggets, Edwards put up 31.6 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 5.2 assists in the first round. These are very impressive numbers, and I believe Ant-Man is officially on a trajectory of being an NBA superstar, and I believe everyone sees it as well. And if you don't, you must be living under a rock or don't watch basketball. Ant-Man's recent stint for Team USA has given him the opportunity to show his potential on a global scale. He's clearly the best player on the roster, and he has established himself as the alpha on the team. Every alpha dog to play on Team USA has gone on to at least become an NBA champion or a top 5 player. And Ant-Man is next up on that list if you ask me. Ant-Man's USA performance so far is reminiscent of a young Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant. I'll even throw Michael Jordan in there. That's how ready Edwards looks already at the age of 22. He's following the footsteps of the great two guards to come before him, which is a great thing to see. In my opinion, he's more similar to Dwayne Wade in terms of height and frame. Some have argued Edwards actually might be more offensively talented and just have overall more raw talent than Dwayne Wade at his age due to how advanced his jumper is already. I'm not saying Ant-Man is going to have a better career than Dwayne Wade. I'm not saying that at all. But if Ant-Man stays on this trajectory, he might find himself amongst one of the best shooting guards to ever play the game, as I've said before. When you think of the best shooting guards to ever play, like MJ, Kobe, D-Wade, James Harden, I believe Anthony Edwards has the talent and the mindset to be in that company. He's more of a modern version of all those dudes I named, but ultimately he has to be the best Anthony Edwards he can be. When you also look at Anthony Edwards' game, it doesn't look like he has much weaknesses. He's a great on and off ball shooter. He's making strides in the mid-range department. He's amongst one of the best slashers in the league. He's also making himself known as one of the premier two-way players in the league as well. And might I add, as he raises his offensive ceiling, his playmaking will get better and better as the years go on. He's improved his assists from 2.9 in his rookie season to a career high of 4.4 in his recent third season. Although he had a great third season, entering his fourth season, I believe this will be Anthony Edwards' official breakout season. I predict he'll finally cross the 25 point per game mark for the first time in his career, with about 25.5 points per game, 6 to 7 rebounds, and 5 to 6 assists per game. I think he can do that. And like I always say, I would not be surprised if he supersedes those numbers and averages damn near 30 or 29, 28, 27. You just never know nowadays. But with the roster that he presently has, I do feel like 25 points per game is realistic for him next season, because he will be playing with Cat, who will also be getting you around 24, 25 points per game as well, depending on which Cat you get, you know. I also predict Anthony Edwards might make his first All-NBA defensive team, one of many going forward in his career. I never actually thought that the Minnesota Timberwolves will even be title contenders as presently constructed, but the rise of Ant-Man just might make them a true contender in the next few years. I always thought Karl-Anthony Towns was best suited to be a second option on a championship team. It's clear Anthony Edwards is a top dog, and this being established, I believe the Timberwolves can move on into the future with an identity. If Karl-Anthony Towns can be a true number 2 option to Ant-Man's number 1, and Rudy Gobert can return to being a defensive player of the year caliber center that we all know he is, which I think he can, along with pieces like Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels, sky's the limit for the Timberwolves, man. The NBA has never been this wide open, And I don't believe the Timberwolves are far from contention like the media would like you to believe. If everything goes right for this team, they can be a real problem for everyone in the NBA. Although they lost in 5 games to the eventual champs, anyone watching that series will tell you that the Wolves aren't that far off from being a real problem. But what do you think? Do you think Ant-Man can lead the Timberwolves to a championship one day? Do you believe Ant-Man will finish his career as a top 5 shooting guard ever? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to join the family. We're on the road to 1K. Have a blessed day.